A continuum matter is made up of atoms that are widely spaced in gas phase. So if the fluid under consideration, let's say, is gas, then we know that atoms are well spread out and it's thin rather as compared to liquid. Yet is it very convenient to disregard the atomic nature of a substance and view it as a continuous homogeneous matter with no holes, and that is we call as continuum. Now the thing is that any matter is basically made up of thin atoms, molecules, and so on, which are the basic things as we discussed. And each molecule or atom is at a has a specific distance or space between its neighbor, the next item, or if we are considering molecules, the next molecule. And in gases, these things thin out, while in liquids they are quite close to each other, and in solids they are attached with each other. Uh, in most cases, in gases, for example, when we are considering studying a fluid that involves gases, then we can still like to consider it as a whole, as a unit, as a continuous system, rather than spread out. So it is important. We can consider the rarefied gas system also, but for the moment, for our basic study, most of the time we will be associating ourselves, we will be considering the fluid and the system under consideration as a continuous body, and so continuum. The continuum idealization allows us to treat properties as point function and to assume that the properties vary continually in space with no jump discontinuities. So this is very important when we are considering equations of motion, solving so things like continuity equation, Euler momentum equation, and so on. Then it is important that we consider the continuous point system. Other, if there are discontinuities involved, it is difficult to handle them. So a continuous body is important, and this idealization is valid as long as the size of the system we deal with is large relative to the space between the molecules. So as I have said, there is a distance between the molecules of gases. The nearer gas, there will be a certain distance, and I will give you a little measure of this. But these things are a realistic thing. But when we want to solve, to make an estimate of the flow system, of the fluid system, it's important that we consider that it is a continuum body. To have a sense of the distances that are involved at molecular level, consider a container filled with oxygen at atmospheric condition. So at normal atmospheric condition we consider, and this is just to give you an example that how we make our estimation and eliminate errors. The diameter of oxygen molecule is about 3 into 10 to power minus 10 meters. 10 to power minus 10. So you can imagine it's a very small distance, even difficult to see with naked eyes. And its mass is 5.3 into 10 to power minus 26. 10 to power minus 26, a very small quantity. So these oxygen molecules are very small basically. They carry very small weight. Their dimensions are very small. As I have mentioned, the approximate diameter of a typical oxygen molecule, and the mean free path of oxygen at 1 atmospheric pressure and at 20 degrees centigrade is 6.3 into 10 to power minus 8 meter. So the molecule itself is of the order of 10 to the power minus 10 meter, and the distance between two nearest molecules of oxygen is of the order 10 to the power minus 8. So that is to say, if we can make the little algebraic calculation, it means that oxygen molecules travel on average a distance of about 6.3 into 10 to power minus 8 meters, still a very small distance, but it is 200 times the diameter. If we compare it to the diameter of the oxygen molecule, then it is 200 times its typical diameter before it meets with its neighbor. So they are spaced at a distance of which is nearly about equal to 200 times diameter of a typical oxygen molecule. At very high vacuums or very high elevations, as we go high up, the gases still thin out, they spread out, so their molecules also spread out. The mean free path become large. For example, it is about 0.1 meter. Now you can see where things were at the level of 10 to the power minus 8 meter and where they have come to 10 to power minus 1. What a difference. So they have really spread out. For atmospheric air at an elevation of 100 kilometer, we are talking of a very high elevation, and that's where this situation prevails. Now, for such cases, the rarefied gas, the flow should be used, and the equations of motion that we consider for the solution of the typical problem at that level, at 100 kilometer above the sea level, rarefied gas theory should be used for solving the problems. But normally, we will be considered only when the gases are not that much rarefied and they are close enough so that we are able to consider them as a continuum body. And in this case, most of the time, we will limit ourselves to substances that can be modeled as continuum.